Hello, and thank you for joining us on Nationwide News on the network service of the NTA. I am Nolene Ebel Ame. Let's begin the broadcast in Damaturu, where the House of Representatives Committee on Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, FEMA, has commended Northeast governors, particularly those from the insurgency-affected states, for their steadfast and resilience in tackling some regional challenges, despite limited resources and social complexities. Chairman of the committee, Aderemi Abasi Oseni, gave the commendation at an engagement with Yobe State Governor Mai Malabuni on the committee's mission to the region. Yunusa Suleiman reports.
The visit to the Northeast by the House of Representatives Committee on Federal Roads Maintenance Agency, FEMA, is part of its legislative oversight functions to assess the agency's interventions in the region. The chairman of the committee says the tour to Yobe State is to also enable members of the committee evaluate the agency's projects and identify roads requiring attention while engaging with state officials.
I want to, on that note, promise you, Mr. Governor, that this visit will not be a one-off. I will create time as the chairman of this committee to go around the whole of Yobe State to see how we can collaborate with you and see how FEMA as an agency will be able to do more than whatever they are doing currently.
Governor Mai Malabuni expressed appreciation for the committee's visit and highlighted several critical federal roads in need of rehabilitation. He emphasized that improved road infrastructure will enhance security and drive sustainable economic growth in the state.
Due to the climate change impact, we have recorded a lot of damages on our roads, which of course it is very huge on us as a state to say that we will fix all the problems by the state as it is. So the intervention of the federal government is very, very important.
This marks the committee's first visit to the state in recent years, with the chairman pledging to advocate for increased support to boost Yobe State's growth and prosperity. In Damaturu, Yunusa Suleiman, NTA News.
It is now more than 2 years of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's purposeful administration, and the voices of excellent performance by various support groups keep waxing stronger in the face of daunting challenges. The latest is the Bola Ahmed Tinubu movement, with the theme 2 years assessment of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. Political correspondent Abubakar Akwanga reports.
About 200 APC support groups are here, and it is time to set the ball rolling for an administration believed to have navigated tough times and brought succor through the renewed hope agenda. Now a reportorial analysis of governance and administration under a 2-year experiment of Bola Ahmed Tinubu's presidency is amplifying voices on giant strides in infrastructure, credit schemes, security, agriculture, and much more.
It is pertinent to remind ourselves that the journey so far has not been easy. But as painful as these reforms may appear, they remain necessary decisions that needed to be taken towards achieving a greater Nigeria.
The multiple foreign exchange windows have been closed, investors' confidence has significantly been restored, and non-oil export rose to 78% in the first quarter of 2025 at 3.17 trillion naira.
As a matter of fact, the President has made our work in the party a lot easier.
The renewed hope agenda is a rising hope that is now setting the stage for a renewed mandate of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration for sustainable progress in fiscal policy, foreign direct investment, and stronger economic trajectory.
I can promise you that as much as they want to say, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is going to be best judged, not by you and me, or not by the politicians. He is going to be judged by history.
We Nigerian women express our deep appreciation to Mr. President for establishment of the Nigerian Consumer Credit Corporation, Credicop, capitalized with over 200 billion naira.
The Government Policy Advocacy Group appealed to Nigerians to support President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration in its recovery efforts of restoring Nigeria's lost glory and enhancing opportunities for all. In Abuja, Abubakar Akwanga, NTA News.
The Office of the Vice President has noted with a serious concern the gross misrepresentation of remarks of Vice President Kashim Shettima during the public presentation of the book OPL 245, the inside story of the $1.3 billion oil block by Mohammed Bello Adoke, SAN. Held at the Adua Center, Abuja, on Thursday, July 10, 2025. Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Communications, Office of the Vice President, Stanley Nkocha, made the clarification. State House Correspondent Abdurrahman Jibrila reports.
President, that Mr. President, you do not have the power to remove a sitting governor, not even a councillor. They sought for the opinion of another SAN in the cabinet, Kabiru Turaki, who said, I am concurring with the opinion of my senior colleague. That was how the matter was laid to rest, but that was how my relationship with Mr. Bello Adoke and Aminu Waziri Tambuwal became eternally sealed.
Certain online news outlets and individuals have distorted the Vice President's comment in the pursuit of a mischievous agenda, twisting his account of how the administration of former President Goodluck Jonathan, considering removing him from office, then as governor of Borno State, at the height of the insurgency in the Northeast region. Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Communications, Office of the Vice President, Stanley Nkocha, said the sensational reporting, which strips the Vice President's remark of their proper context, ventures into fiction by drawing false equivalence between his personal experience and the state of emergency declared in Rivers State.
We put it for the records that this Vice President is totally in support of the actions taken in Rivers State. This Vice President has never questioned the action of Mr. President and will never do that. This Vice President said that, look, that there was an attempt to remove him from office by the then President of Nigeria, President Goodluck Jonathan. What we have in play today is suspension of a governor, right? Suspension of the government of Simfubara in Rivers State. It is totally different from the attempted removal of the then Governor Kashim Shettima in Borno State. And I think we must give accolades to the president, because if not for his actions, if not for the bold decision he took in Rivers State, by now nobody would have been discussing about Simfubara. He would have been perpetually impeached. Impeached means, look, there wouldn't have been any space for him to come back. And so if you have a situation where you have discussions, as it is being alleged, going on to bring him back, I mean, it gives some accolade that, look, that this president exercised wisdom. Because otherwise, by now, Simfubara would have been gone. And nobody would have been talking about his coming back. But through that action, you can see that, look, that there's opportunity for the governor to come back.
The spokesman said Vice President Shettima stands in a loyal concert with President Tinubu in implementing difficult but necessary actions to safeguard Nigeria's democracy, urging media organizations and political actors to desist from the destructive practice of wrenching statements from context in order to fabricate non-existent conflicts. From the State House, Abdurrahman Jibrila, NTA News.
Still staying with the State House, the annual Global First Partners Academy has ended in New York, highlighting the need for more innovative ideas in mobilizing resources for sustainable development across the world. State House correspondent Adeni Taiwo reports that Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, received a certificate of participation alongside 17 other first partners.
For the third day,
First partners from 18 countries around the world gathered for another capacity building session. Lack of adequate resources to finance their interventions in key sectors appears to be the elephant in the room. So, the session turned attention to building their capacity towards helping their nation mobilize resources. The resource person for the day, Columbia University Don and former chief economist for health at the World Bank, Professor Alexander Precker, told participants that resource mobilization must begin with identifying their priorities and presenting investors with opportunities to invest in worthy causes.
So you always have to remember that you're not out there begging with a tin cup. You're giving an opportunity to people with money to invest in things that are good. And so that changes things a lot because you have the power of being able to offer things. It's about a handshake. It's the interaction between you, your personalities, and the people who can provide some money.
It means embracing both and thinking and moving beyond either or black and white thinking. This approach fosters a more balanced and compassionate understanding of oneself and others. It is especially important for children and young people to learn.
The session also featured talks by wife of former United Kingdom Prime Minister Sarah Jane Brown on enhancing the early child education and maternal health, while other speakers highlighted the need for improved collaboration and ties between countries for enhanced economic development. At a short ceremony, first partners were presented certificate of participation by the Academy. From Manhattan in New York, Adeni Itaiwo, NTA News.
And back home in Nigeria, the African Democratic Congress ADC says the party remains united, contrary to insinuations in some quarters of internal division and attempts by the coalition partners to hijack the party. This was at a closed-door meeting between the National Working Committee and all the 36 states and the FCT chairman of the party. Interim National Publicity Secretary Bolaji Abdullahi says it has become necessary to clarify the coalition's role and reinforce unity, saying they are working with other partners to build a credible and formidable alternative party ahead of 2027 general election.
All kind of falsehood and rumors that have been going around the country that we have come to take over this party from them and to push them away. So we have invited them to this meeting to reassure them that we don't have any intention to push them away. We don't have any intention to shove them off. We are here to work with them as partners to build a strong and formidable political party. All the state chairmen will remain in office. But where a chairman is willing to relinquish his position for whatever reason, he's free to do so. But we are not going to ask any chairman to leave his position. That is what we have agreed.
Mr. Abdullahi says the party will not be distracted by what he calls outside noise, but will remain focused where the Constitution remains supreme. House of Representatives Committee on Integration and Regional Cooperation in Africa is considering an enhancement of the budgetary provisions for the Audane part Nigeria to enable it carry out its responsibilities effectively. Having been conducted around the facilities and briefed by the CEO NEPAD Nigeria, Jabiru Salisu Abdullahi, the committee also commended the agency for executing strategic programs that align with the African Union's agenda of 2063. The members also pledged support to the Audane part Nigeria in ensuring that its initiatives in agriculture, infrastructural development, governance and youth empowerment are well sustained.
Acting on strategic, efficient and policy-driven. Let me assure you that this committee will continue to uphold the spirit of African solidarity, institutional accountability, and people-centered development.
They affirm our full readiness to work hand in hand with our committee in the field of cooperation and national service. We are also committed to joint legislative advocacy, policy alignment, oversight report, and stakeholder engagement at national and sub-national levels.
Both parties were on the same page regarding long-term strategic partnership that will foster Nigeria's leadership, championing regional integration and continental development. In other news, the Federal Ministry of Education has taken a decisive stand against the commercialization of accreditation process of some professional courses, stressing that preserving the quality of academic programs is key to building a more equitable and effective education system. This position formed part of the resolutions reached at a recent stakeholders engagement. Zenreng Dimon reports.
We have a situation where a professional body will go to a university and say, we have closed that department, that program.
Deliberations were intense, focused and far-reaching, and at the heart of discussions was a critical issue: the impact of over-enrolled universities on the quality of training and the competence of graduates in professional practice. A major highlight of the meeting was the push for stronger collaboration between professional regulatory bodies and relevant government agencies. This, stakeholders believe, will help harmonize standards and documentation processes across board. A consensus was also reached on key reforms, including setting a minimum of 5 years between accreditation exercises and encouraging regulatory bodies to self-fund their operations rather than rely on institutions.
It's becoming a major a problem with our resources.
Anybody who has a relation in the National Assembly now has a license to go and accredit. And when you abuse such situation, to get to a point that reasonable people will ask questions.
It's about the academics and also about the professionalism. So to separate them, in fact, in the first instance, we shouldn't have even separated them because they align. They must align for us to have a perfect, trained individual.
You as professional councils, you should not limit capacities. You're limiting the number of students that these universities can take.
This collective resolve to re-evaluate current practices and adopt more strategic enforcement mechanisms aims to enhance efficiency and integrity across the education sector. In Abuja, Zenred Dingmun, NTA News.
Still on education, the Nigerian Education Loan Fund, NEL Fund, has resumed disbursement of upkeep allowances to students beneficiaries who recently updated their bank details from digital wallet platforms to conventional commercial bank accounts. This move follows previous delays attributed to compatibility issues with digital-only banking services. The body describes the development as a major breakthrough in addressing the backlog of unpaid allowances. That over 3,600 affected students have now received their outstanding payments after completing the required update on the NEL Fund portal. Students experiencing similar issues have been advised to channel their complaints through the office of their respective institutions for prompt attention. NEL Fund reaffirmed its commitment to inclusivity and transparency as the stated current resolution process is part of a broader strategy to improve the efficiency and student-focused delivery of its support services. For more news on Nationwide, let's take you to the Center of Excellence with Hingino John Adams as our guide. Hello, Hingino. You to the Center of Excellence. Hingino John Adams as our guide. Hello, Hingino.
The federal government is beaming its searchlight on money laundering at the nation's airports through an alliance between the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, FAN, and the Nigeria Customs Service, NCS. Our correspondent reports that they are also emphasizing the need for arriving and departing air travelers to declare all foreign currencies above $10,000 to avoid seizure under anti-money laundering laws. Nigeria was placed on the Financial Action Task Force FATF grey list in February 2023 as a result of deficiencies in its anti-money laundering approach. The implication is that the country is experiencing increased regulatory scrutiny and higher compliance costs for businesses. This has negative impacts on foreign investments and international transactions. The government has been actively working with the FATF to implement an action plan to address deficiencies in order to exit the grey list. The effort is yielding results with interception of huge amounts in foreign currencies across various airports. This joint tour of the cargo terminal at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport by management of the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, FAN, and that of the Nigeria Customs Service, NCS, is aimed at reducing illicit financial activities across the nation's airports.
We've also enhanced our security screening procedures. As airport operators, we've spoken largely around reducing the number of interfaces, some of which have been done by enhanced security screening procedures.
I am quite satisfied with the measures that have been put in place by FAN. These measures include the provisions of designated places where currency declarations can be made.
The two agencies are working towards merging the currency declaration form with passenger arrival cards, which they say will facilitate the removal of Nigeria from the Financial Action Task Force grey list. Nigeria's target of achieving minimal carbon footprint has birthed the Lekki Carbon Demonstration Zone, a pilot initiative of an environmental-friendly industrial zone. The project is also part of a memorandum of understanding signed by Nigeria and China at the 2024 Climate Change Summit COP29. Lanre Belay has details.
The Nigeria-China Memorandum of Understanding at COP29 Baku provides a vehicle for the creation of a low-carbon industrial zone. To be sited in Lagos State, the commercial nerve of the nation with potential structures, the project will be strengthened by technological inputs from China. Representatives of both countries on this initiative met with the Lagos State government to identify the location of the pilot scheme in Lekki.
So what we can do is give them support, make it something worthwhile for them as an investment, and then for a state where the benefits come to us.
This particular project really is to demonstrate that Nigeria has the capacity to leapfrog its economic development.
Well, after the first phase, that is meeting with the Lagos State government, we are now in the second phase where the delegation of Nigeria and China will meet with the private sector.
The interactive session gave the delegation an opportunity to present to the private sector the Lekki Low Carbon Demonstration Zone concept, strategy, vision, commercial viability, and investment opportunities.
I want to see we use this project to learn what's your requirement, what's your need, what we can apply, what will Chinese government can supply for you.
For us, this is an amazing opportunity for private sector, in collaboration with the public sector, to, power a pilot, from the Lekki Free Zone area.
The Lekki Low Carbon Zone demonstration, although a template, serves as a blueprint for other states in the country. It is not merely an environmental imperative, but a crucial economic necessity. In Lagos, Lanre Belay, NTA News.
That's it from here. Nationwide will continue in just with Bilkisu Nuhu after this break.
From the Atlantic across the savannah to the Sahara, we rise, a land of the free, we know they tire. We dream great, our spirit is undying.
Resilient, rooted like palm tree, we sway in colors,
We make solutions, we ignite passion, yeah. Ethnicity is unique, we have more than just a nation. We are Nigeria, strengthening unity, we know they carry love. We are Nigeria, together live the dream of a land with great destiny. We are Nigeria.
I am the real Nigerian. Brought to you by the National Orientation Agency, NOA.
Members of the National Assembly on public hearing to seek the inputs and opinion of Nigerians on Constitution Amendment Bill. What are the focal areas as National Assembly traverses from one zone to another? A process in which the people will own their constitution through their inputs. That is our conversation on Tuesday Live, coming up on the 15th of July 2025. NTA Tuesday Live, every Tuesday at 10:30 p.m. It promises to be incisive and educative as ever. Join us.
At NTA Television College Jos, you will dive into exhilarating hands that will fuel your passion in education and propel your career to new heights. We don't just teach, we craft the next generation of media leaders. Explore our diverse offering, understanding the personnel matters and issues in the public service, basic development communication, financial reporting under IPSAS, and interpretation of public sector accounting standard IPSAS, audit, internal check and control management, video camera maintenance, new technologies, optics, fiber, IP technologies, automation, storage management, and wireless technology. Challenges and opportunities in the secretarial profession in the digital age. Digital marketing, basic drama, online reporting, understanding the provisions of the revised public service, audio engineering operations and maintenance, camera operations, and intermediate drama. Mark your calendar. The second quarter of 2025 is your launch pad. This is your moment to seize the future. Announcer managed.
Hey Nigeria, ready to breathe cleaner air and save money? Let's talk about gas. Drive with CNG, the smart, cost-effective choice. Fill up for less and travel further. Save money, save the planet. Switch to LPG for cooking. It's cleaner, healthier, and better for environment. Say goodbye to smoke and eye problems. Do you know Nigeria is a gas nation ranked 9th globally with over 209 trillion cubic feet of gas reserve? Gas isn't just for cooking and driving. It powers industries too. Cleaner, cheaper, and more efficient. And the best part, conversion centers are popping up everywhere. It's never been easier to switch to gas. Join the cleaner energy revolution. Choose LPG for cooking and CNG for your vehicles. Clean energy for brighter future. This message is brought to you by the Office of the Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Gas, supported by the Nigeria Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, NMDPRA.
To Jos. Commandant General of Nigeria's Security and Civil Defense Corps, Ahmed Abubakar Audi, is calling on philanthropists to support the welfare and operational capacity of security personnel to boost their morale. He made the plea at the inauguration of a clinic donated to the Corps in Jos. The report.
We dedicate this building to the glory of God and for the benefit of humanity.
While inaugurating the project, the Commandant General of NSCDC, Ahmed Abubakar Audi, expressing gratitude, described the donation as timely and commendable, noting that it will go a long way in boosting the morale and ensuring prompt medical attention for personnel.
When you have Nigerians who are doing very well, and then they begin to think very positive in trying to provide this kind of service to security agencies. Sometimes it's only of emulation. So I think this is very beautiful.
Handing over the facility to the command, Samuel Adetunji says this is part of his commitment to supporting the welfare and operational capacity of security personnel in the state.
He further emphasized that the gesture was driven by a desire to add value to the lives of officers and improve access to healthcare services within the command.
Show them love because it's better for us to take the security and then who is taking about their security. So as a businessman, and we just felt we need to just add value to our life.
The clinic is expected to cater not only to officers and their families, but also serve as an emergency response point for the public in nearby communities.
Following the recent outbreak of cholera in Bokos local government area, UNICEF is partnering Plateau State government to conduct wide-range cholera vaccination campaign to protect families and children from contracting the disease. Ijoma Ozomina has more.
It will be recalled that there was outbreak of cholera in Tangu community in May, which brought about rapid response of mass vaccination for its residents by the partners. As part of its corporate social responsibilities, UNICEF, alongside the state government, has intervened in the cholera outbreak of Bokos local government area by providing 287,167 doses of vaccines for ages 1 and above. Apart from door-to-door vaccination, there was chlorination of sources of water like wells, streams, and rain, which could have been contaminated.
We talk about sanitizing the places and applying some chemicals in our wells.
Many of our people have died because of this cholera. We thank government for the support that they support us.
We commend the government and UNICEF for the exercise that is going on towards protecting the lives of our students and teachers.
Plateau State government is combating the menace by disinfecting public places, fumigation, as well as enlightening the community on the need for better hygiene and avoidance of open defecation.
The vaccination is supposed to last for 5 days, including a 2-day mop-up, and they expect to visit all communities in Bokos local government.
We have these strategies, 3 strategies. We have the house-to-house, transit team, and the fixed post. But high creating awareness among the community people, so the clients are not waiting for house-to-house.
In Jos, Ijom Ozemena,
This is all from those North Indian Federation of Nations in Abuja.
Thank you very much, Bilkisu Nuhu. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, is urging Nigerians to support and embrace the reforms of President Bola Tinubu, reassuring that they are not created to cause hardship to the people. This was during an engagement with the national leadership of Ex-Councillors Forum in Abuja. Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara reports.
We don't give anybody, unless if you can defend democracy, we do it for you. That's why, Minister, thank you very much. Thank you.
The government chief image promoter has been found worthy for his people-oriented services and dedication in transparently communicating government activities.
The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Alhaji Mohammed Idris, because from the onset you have been always result-driven in all pursuits of your antecedents. To stand on, the statements are all available for us to see them.
For the awardee, the reward for hard work is more work, and therefore reaffirmed that the Supreme Court pronouncement on local government autonomy is part of President Tinubu's noble gesture to strengthen democracy at the grassroots. The minister equally recognized the forum as worthy partners.
So we want to thank you thus far for the support that you have given to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and we urge you to please continue to explain to the people, because you are a 70,000 strong body, and all of you also have your supporters across the country, across party lines. Please ensure that the message of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu gets to Nigerians. Let Nigerians really understand what the mission of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, which is to restore Nigeria, to take it to the height that all of us envision, and to put it on a solid path of sustainable prosperity.
The ex-councillors forum, with about 70,000 active members, has been operating as a non-governmental organization, playing an active role in strengthening democracy at the grassroots since 1999. In Abuja, Salihu Abdullahi Gwanara, NTA News.
Following recent explosion at a scrap metal factory in Kano, security agencies have initiated a safety awareness campaign targeting scrap and waste dealers. The campaign is aimed at educating those in the industry on the risk of handling hazardous materials and promoting safer practices to prevent future occurrence. Yahana Su Hassan Barrow has more.
Kano, the commercial heartbeat of northern Nigeria, is home to a wide range of trades, among them the bustling scrap metal business. While it provides livelihood for many, it also comes with certain risks that can't be ignored. A recent explosion at a scrap collection point destroyed nearby properties and raised concerns about safety practices within the sector.
We create awareness of the danger of all these explosives so that our members will be easily identified explosive whenever they come across it, so that they will identify it and notify security agencies.
Preliminary findings suggest that many scrap dealers lack adequate knowledge in identifying hazardous materials, including possible explosive remnants, which sometimes make their way into the trade. To address this, security agencies, in collaboration with the Kano State government and key industry stakeholders, have launched a safety awareness campaign aimed at educating scrap dealers on how to recognize suspicious materials and adopt safer handling procedures.
Wherever we see those things, as we are taught that we should just don't approach it.
We are very sure that the measures we take will enlighten our people to know how to prevent themselves out of those kind of explosive devices.
The campaign also comes as the government enforces a new directive restricting the random entry of scrap materials into the state, part of broader efforts to ensure public safety and reduce risk. In Kano, Yahana Hassan Barrow, NTA News.
And here in Abuja, as the digital space expands, digital footprints of criminals are also on the increase and cyber users exposed to vulnerabilities. So, ICT professionals at the first National Cybersecurity Conference in Abuja are proffering solutions to stem activities of these criminal elements as Nigeria builds a resilient digital future. Chidima Ndubisi reports.
TAB has had a taste of the bitter pill.
I got an email. I was supposed to confirm a link. After confirming the link, I realized I lost access to my account.
A lot of cyber crimes ongoing, such as email spoofing, email phishing, and also man-in-the-middle attack.
That's why the air was thick with urgency on the second day of the National Cybersecurity Conference, where experts, government agencies, and tech players came together, sounding the alarm and sharing solutions.
We have to have, strategic relationships and coordination in the area of mitigating risks.
The private sector can help the governmental entities by providing their means. There is a lot of areas where that we can develop, from cyber capacity building, implementation of solutions.
While government agencies are stepping up defenses, these experts agree organizations and individuals must also take charge of their digital safety.
Consciousness to have like antivirus on your system that will continuously scan your system to protect your files.
The advice may seem simple, but could be what will keep smart device users a step ahead of cyber exploiters. In Abuja, Chimdema Ndubisi, NTA News.
Still talking security, stakeholders at a one-day conference at the instances of the National Orientation Agency to evaluate issues of security concerns have urged the federal government to consider giving out empty houses within the FCT to residents at an affordable rate as a means of reducing housing pressure and checkmating miscreants amongst residents. Kenneth Nanim reports that the NOA FCT chapter affirmed its readiness to lead advocacy to mobilize the communities and support collaborative actions towards building a more secured and safer Federal Capital Territory.
Housing pressure.
It is a social one. Many restive youths, including both Nigerians and undocumented migrants, are driven by poverty, unemployment, substance abuse, and social disconnection.
So you talk about youth restiveness, you find out that drugs is a critical factor that is changing the mindset of our youths, and they will definitely not rest if their brains are filled with drugs.
Having put the challenges of youth restiveness, influx of migrants and housing pressure in the FCT into perspective, the conference is also proffering solutions.
The solution lies in stronger public-private partnerships to develop affordable housing.
It was an insightful conversation with divergent views. While others discuss them as problems needing solutions, some look at the issues as stepping stones that government and the private sector could leverage to advance development in the FCT.
If Abuja is becoming congested, what if we build a new Abuja?
The need for parents and caregivers to pay more attention to their children, the establishment of migrant integration and support framework, soft loans for grassroots women to establish businesses within their vicinity in order to manage their homes, and the need for an effective feedback mechanism for effective communication are part of a 12-point communique drafted at the end of the conference.
Let there be a proper follow-up so that we can be able to really tackle these three key issues.
A child without education is a ticking time bomb, and a child with education that is not being useful is a willing tool.
It was unanimously agreed that to solve all of these, there must be a synergy between the government and the citizens. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
In other news, the Director General, Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Salihu Abdulhamid Dembos, has advised media organizations and journalists to promote good governance and accountability through patriotic reportage. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that this was contained in a message at a summit organized by the Center for Patriotism and Values Reorientation in Abuja.
Key to national development.
Young prospective leaders and captains of industries at a summit focusing on security journalism and its impact on national development. Security journalism, a specialized and dedicated act of reporting security and defense-related issues, highlights emerging security threats and challenges. The focus of the summit is to enhance and shape public perception and opinions through effective reporting and positive narration that seeks to promote socio-economic development.
In as much as we know we have so many expectations from our dear government to we, the citizenry, anywhere it finds it fit to have done an effort, attempt, or of any kind, by the time we tend to appreciate those efforts, it will serve as complementary to the government and the policy makers. The way we project our country, the way we project our image as a people, will determine the way other people see us.
The lead speaker at the event enjoins journalists to embrace developmental journalism to promote security and good governance.
So when security journalists and media outfits frame headlines that promote violence and create fear, confidence will wane. Such destabilizes communities, it disrupts economic activities, strains government resources, and aggravates social inequalities.
While it is important to recognize that government business needs to be conducted in the open so as to make government records open to inspection, there is also an overriding need to protect national security.
Issues raised at the event include the Freedom of Information Act, classification of information, national security, and the need for continuous training for journalists. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Let's link up with Comfort Anyim in our Enugu Network studio for more stories from that axis. Over to you, Comfort.
The state of medical practice in Nigeria has again come under focus as experts advocated the recruitment of volunteers to address the dwindling number of professionals affected by Japa syndrome. These and among other issues formed the crux of discussion at the 10th Scientific Conference and Annual General Meeting of Intensive and Critical Care Society of Nigeria, ICCSN, held in Enugu. Chika Okorie reports that the conference has as its theme cardiac and critical care.
When the conference opened, Professor Samuel Aha-Ebulam shared his experience when intensive care units ICU was not part of surgical care and called for the integration of volunteers into healthcare due to manpower shortage. Joining virtually, President of the Society, Professor Babatunde Babashola Osayinke, described Enugu as a center of excellence for cardiothoracic surgery.
To the level of engaging non-doctors, training them to perform certain roles. I think we need to consider this strongly in an environment like Nigeria, where we have shortage of manpower, and even those we train, most of them abandon us.
Keynote speaker, a consultant cardiothoracic surgeon, Dr. Jonathan Wilo, alongside others, explained the critical importance of ICU in strengthening Nigeria's healthcare system.
There's need to develop multidisciplinary teams to address different challenges like patients who are in shock, to have a shock team that comprises of different expertise from different specialties.
The first open heart surgery in Nigeria was performed in 1974 at the University of Nigeria Teaching Hospital, Enugu.
Goodwill messages from stakeholders focus on tackling medical tourism through a holistic approach, while some participants said they felt professionally empowered.
We are actually calling the state government, working so hard to see how we can actually close that gap.
Coming to this conference today has actually helped me to know how to manage patients in critical care units.
The event also honored veterans in medical practice for their commitments and contributions, with participants visiting various exhibition stands. In Enugu, Chika Okori, NTA News.
Anambra State Police says it has arrested a 25-year-old man with a woman's body part and recorded other breakthrough in tackling crime in the past week in Anambra State. Chinyere Fesi Okoye reports.
We have recorded a significant achievement, leveraging on community support and the information that we get from the members of the public. Just in Awada, a few days ago, we were able to arrest a male suspect with a female private part.
In another development, police officers attached to the Rapid Response Squad, acting on credible information, rescued a kidnapped driver and also recovered a truck loaded with goods worth over 9 million naira meant to be delivered to a warehouse in Asaba, but was diverted to a bush in a community in Anambra State.
We have been having a disjoint patrol and surveillance movement in making sure that we monitor every black spots and environments in Anambra. Through this, in Obosi, we were able to recover an abandoned Toyota Sienna vehicle.
Meanwhile, following security intelligence-led policing and community information, the PPRO also announced that the CP, Ikoye Orotugu, has ordered clamp down on any unlawful gatherings in the state, urging the public to remain vigilant and report any suspicious activities or threats to the command or nearest security agency. In Oka, Chinyere Fesi Okoye, NTA News.
That's a package from here. Taking a break now to join Meduguri thereafter. Do stay with us.
Have you heard the news? The federal government of Nigeria, through its direct benefit transfer program, has started the disbursement of 75,000 naira per household in 3 installments of 25,000, 25,000, 25,000 naira. Each recipient must have a validated national identification number, NIN, to receive the payment on behalf of their household members. To benefit, your household must be in the National Social Register of Poor and Vulnerable Households in Nigeria. The federal government's direct benefit transfer...
Glad to have you join us. The federal government is adopting a multinational dimensional approach toward ensuring that businesses at the sub-national levels are uplifted effectively and efficiently in line with the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to stabilize the nation's economy. That was the focus of a statewide town hall meeting held in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital, in continuation of ongoing tour across states in Nigeria. Abubakar Musa reports.
Coordinated by the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council, Federal Ministry of Finance, Debt Management Office Nigeria, World Bank, and Nigeria's Forum through the State Action on Business Enabling Reforms, SABA, the statewide town hall meeting, which had 200 sample audience, provided an avenue to get business feedbacks, identify gray areas within the business space towards improving the entrepreneurial environment for small and medium-sized enterprises, while providing the most suitable roadmap to implement business policies and reforms at the subnational levels going forward. It was also a game-changing initiative that provided attendees the advantage to have a clearer understanding of their selling points while leveraging key resources and every opportunity within their reach.
We interacted with the business community to get feedback from them and also to bring government from the federal level as well as the state level closer to the business people here in Maiduguri today.
Key actors have described the initiative as a turning point for Borno's ongoing recovery and rebuilding efforts.
It's the first step towards achieving what we have intended to achieve, improve businesses, restructure businesses, and unlock some of the potentials they have.
20 states in Nigeria, including Borno, have so far benefited from the State Action on Business Enabling Reforms program, which also comprised a technical session. In Maiduguri, Abubakar Musa, NTA News.
With Noli Abuja. Noli, it's back to you.
Thank you very much, Ladidi Musa. And that concludes Nationwide today. Thank you so much for watching. I am Nolene Ebel-Ame. Bye for now.
How would you define policy?
Policy is culture shaping.
It's about creating public value.
The policymaker